Welcome back to G Vibes. This is episode 29, and I'm G9, and I'm in the building. Okay, guys, so I'm going to tell you guys something. For a couple of weeks, I would not be having guests due to the coronavirus. And we're going to talk about that a little bit today. Right, Mr. Engineer over there? What's your name?
It's Rashid.
Yes, Rashid. I'm going to use you sometime. You know, I'm going to need to use you. I like to talk to people.
I got you.
Okay, guys. So yes, I won't be having guests due to the coronavirus for a couple of weeks, but all my guests will be rescheduled and be back soon as this is blown. I can't even say blown over, because if we don't listen, it won't be blown over. It'll be keep spiraling and going further and further. Don't you think?
Yeah, stay in the house, back in my cousin. But we already got up to.
I'm going to get to that right now. Okay, so let's talk about the COVID-19 right now, coronavirus. So for California, I'm not going to talk about the whole world, because I think it will overwhelm a couple of people if I talk about the stats from everywhere. So I'm going to just talk about California right now. So COVID-19 stats. It is 1,828 people confirmed with this virus, and it's 35 deaths. So, the signs are cough, fever, fatigue, difficulty breathing, shortness of breath, as they would say. I would say things you need to do to prevent it is wash your hands often. Don't touch your face after you touch something. Wash your hands. Keep your distance from people. Stay home more often than you would normally do. So, how do you feel about this coronavirus, Rashid?
I honestly feel that this coronavirus, it definitely something that needs to be taken seriously. But it takes a virus to make you want to
get it together,
right? In order for you to act clean, it takes a virus to make you wash your hands.
Okay, let me just say something. If it's 1,828 people confirmed that had this virus in California, and the deaths are 35, I'm going to read you guys something that I seen on Instagram. And anytime you want to call about this topic or any topic I'm doing, you can call me at 310-910-9676, extension 750. It's for listeners.
If you're for listeners, but if you want to call in and actually chime into the conversation, extension 1.
Yes. Thanks, Reggie. Can I call you Reggie?
Sure.
Okay, so I'm going to read something to you guys that I thought that you guys, my listeners, should hear right now about coronavirus. And I'm going to break it down just like this, because I seen it on Instagram and I thought it was basically exactly what it is. It's something that someone wrote. Karen got infected yesterday, but she won't know until 14 days later. Karen thinks she's healthy and is infecting 10 persons per day. These 10 persons think they are okay. They travel, go out, and infect hundreds of people. These 100 people think they are healthy and keep infecting 1,000 people. No one knows who is okay. Who can you infect next? Do you understand why it's important to stay at home? So that is a prime example of how fast it can spiral. Like, I work in the medical field, the healthcare field, and I'm worried because I'm not going to put our stats out, my job out. I'm not even going to tell you where I work, but I'm just worried for the simple fact that people are not taking it serious because they believe it's these conspiracies that's going around. And honestly, I was the conspiracy person at first. I was the person that said, oh no, this is the government, this is that. And when I actually had to see people that are experiencing it, I knew it was really real. So when the news come out and tell you all these things, what bothers me about that is it makes everyone more stressed out and overwhelmed.
And I think the reason for that is because what the news does is that they tell you the bad news. They don't tell you
yes,
about all the recovery rates, because
yes,
out of the 100,000 that are actually infected, over like a third of them have actually recovered. They've actually bounced back. Over 100,000 have bounced back.
Right. And so when I'm looking at Instagram, it's saying the positive and negatives. I see positive and negatives on there. But when I go to actual channel news, they're telling me the deaths. They're not telling me, like you saying, the recoveries. They're telling you the deaths, and they telling you got to stay in. But they're not telling you how important it is to stay in your home and to keep the distance. What is it? Social distance from people.
Yeah.
So my thing is with the news, I think that they making people more nervous. They're making people like, I can't touch you. I can't. It's a virus, you guys, and everybody knows how viruses work. I told you the symptoms: cough, fever, fatigue, difficulty breathing, washing your hands often and stuff like that, not touching your face and touching stuff and washing your hands. But a lot of people I see think that if they it's just like a thing with AIDS. They have this thing about AIDS. Like if you touch them, you got it. Like that's what the thing was when we were kids. Just imagine as a kid, you didn't know nothing about this disease, and I'm not going into the AIDS disease because I don't know too much about it. But I'm going to just say that as kids, when you're telling somebody, oh, if you have this, you can die. So when you meet somebody, you think you can die from it. That's how they treating the virus to me with this situation.
I think the prime example of actually someone that's able to live with AIDS and actually live successfully would be Magic Johnson, because as we all know, he lived with AIDS, while in the NBA, and for a year he was treated as the Black Plague because nobody actually understood
what it was,
and then how and how you can get it. Yes, you can get it through bodily fluid contact,
definitely.
Blood, saliva, anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it can actually pass.
Right.
But, just from being in contact with a person, as long as you don't have any open sores around you, just disinfect yourself. You'll be fine.
You know what is so crazy about the coronavirus is that I didn't even think it was as real as it was when celebrities was coming out and saying, I'm like, oh, they done told celebrities to say this. I didn't know it was so real. But being in the medical field, I see it now.
Oh yeah, back in when you see Tom Hanks get it, you see Idris Elba get
mm-hmm.
it.
His wife got it too.
Right, and it's like, and then you see members of the presidential cabinet, they're getting it.
Even basketball players,
yeah, Marcus Smart got it. Rudy Gobert, Donovan Mitchell, Kevin Durant, and like 3 others from the Brooklyn Nets, they have it. You have 2 confirmed cases of part of the LA Lakers, they have it.
Yeah, it's getting deep. So that's why it's so important for you guys to listen. Okay, I would say research yourself. It's nothing like your own research. Research yourself. Everything is basically on the internet. If you don't understand it, call a doctor. It's plenty of doctors and your doctors that can explain it to you instead of being, how I can say this, instead of, I don't want to say ignorant, but instead of being like, oh no, we're not going to listen to you, guys are doing this, you're going to find out what it really is. See what was really, it's so many conspiracies. I really believe in this conspiracies though, because things be coming to life. Like when they had the conspiracy on Instagram about the movie Contagious.
Oh yeah.
Did you see that conspiracy with this now? And the Simpsons, even the Simpsons had a.
Okay, but the thing with Simpsons is that Simpsons, they've been doing these episodes like years and
years. So that's what makes it worse.
But I think the main thing that we're looking for is the one conspiracy that the Simpsons put out, where a certain somebody is in a casket. I think that's the one thing we're kind of just waiting on, because we're seeing all these positive
I don't think we're waiting on it. I hear you what you're saying though.
Right.
I think that like what you're saying is basically people are not taking it as serious because they haven't had a loved one go through it yet. Like a real person that they know, they see it on the internet, it's nothing to them.
Right.
But when it's your actual mom, cousin, sister, brother, then you're like, oh, it's real. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Knock on wood, yeah.
As soon as reality comes knocking on your door, that's when you know it's real to you, because it's never real to you until it actually happens to someone you love, that you care about, and that's when it comes like, oh crap, it's actually real.
Right.
So for right now, take it serious. wash your hands, disinfect, what you can, practice social distancing, especially when you're in supermarkets. Stay 6 feet, keep that 6 feet distance, and that's what we're supposed to practice. That's what we've been told to do.
You know what, guys? This is what I want y'all to do. Research the coronavirus. When you research, ask your doctor next, and then act accordingly. Now, this is the thing that gets me. You don't know what's going on, and then you don't act on it either. That's what gets me. Like, you don't even know what's going. Like, you will say everything about this virus, but never researched it to find out what it's really about, or never asked the doctor, how can you get it? How can I prevent it, or anything? You just going off social network is not going to help you.
Right, because only going off of social networking, you have just this aura of just fear.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of friends
who are in fear.
Yeah, vagabond that are in fear, that are having panic attacks, that are just, having anxiety, because of everything that's going on. I have friends that actually work in grocery stores right now that are just getting bombarded.
Yeah. You know what I feel, though? I feel like, and I'm going to be nice about this, I feel like we are all in fear in some way. And that's what holds us back, is fear. If we're in fear of the littlest things, this is not taken serious, because they're in fear of it. They're going to get tissue and drinking water. Now we got everybody drinking water. Everybody's immune system should be great. I know y'all eating y'all veggies. I know y'all drinking y'all water. I know y'all wiping yourselves down.
But here's the one thing that I don't appreciate.
What do you don't appreciate?
Is those that are actually overdoing it.
Yeah.
In the fact that now you're hoarding sanitizer, you're hoarding toilet paper.
Yeah.
But now you've gotten to the point where you have all these supplies, you can't return them.
No, they're not even taking returns in the grocery stores no more.
Nope. Like in my milk, if you overbought on milk, that's on you.
Right. But this is the thing. I think that people are not. People don't understand. That's why they're doing it. We can't make people read about it. We can't make people listen to what is going on. We just doing word of mouth. We're not researching it. So if we research, maybe we could get a hand on what we really can do.
Right, but since people aren't willing to do the research, more people will suffer because they're not able to actually get the supplies that they actually need.
Yes, you don't have to go out there and buy you months of supplies. The grocery store is still there. I get why they're doing it, because if you have to be in your home and you're stuck in your home, just say a couple of people are just going to be stuck in your home because you don't have no jobs and your jobs laid you off for a while. Then I get that you want some things, but like we're gonna have limited things if we keep taking from people for months and months of stacking up. This is why I know that we are not prepared. Because if we was prepared for things like this, we wouldn't be losing out on tissue and water and stuff like that.
This is PERS 2.0 from what I'm saying. In fact, because you now have an upsurge of people actually buying actual firearms.
Right.
And we've already seen people actually get robbed at grocery stores,
Smart and Final in Inglewood, I heard too. You know what? It's crazy. You know what we gonna do? We gonna play a song right quick. Go ahead and play me a song, Reggie. Then we gonna come back and talk about social distance and why is that important and the things you need to do to keep social distance. Okay, guys. I'll be back. Hey! Oh, is that loud? Okay. Hey, welcome back to G Vibes. It's your girl, G9. Yes, and Reggie, you helping me out a little bit today.
Not a problem.
I like to talk to people. Sometimes I will be having shows by myself, but I like to talk to people. I like to get people's view of things. I mean, I think y'all wouldn't want to hear me every day by myself, right? But yeah, you probably would want to hear me because I always got some stories. Anyway, so I want to get into a little bit of social distance because we're going to talk about this, and then the last 30 minutes I have a topic for y'all. I know y'all can't wait because I love to do relationship topics, but right now we're going to do some little serious stuff. The first 30 minutes is serious, the last 30 minutes is fun. Okay, so anyway, So social distance. Okay. If people don't know what social distance is, can you tell them, James, what social distance is?
Social distancing.
I'm not James. Reggie.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah. Social distancing in practice is just literally you, not having as much contact with people as humanly possible. The recommended distance would be at least 6 feet.
Right. So we are not practicing that. Clearly, I see 1,000 people outside. Not only that, because people got to go to work. Because I work in healthcare, so I'm still going to work. Let me tell you something about how I feel about social distance. It's crazy for us to have this social distance, but we have to be around patients all day. We have to go in those rooms with the patients. We have to gear up. I just sometimes feel overwhelmed and stressed out being in the healthcare field, because sometimes it gets like you have to do your job regardless. This is what you're here for, to help people, and I love doing that. Is helping people, but it is a little stressful.
Yep. And as the job of the media, our job is to just
Inform people.
Right, is to inform people, but at the same time to actually brighten someone's day, to make sure that they're going to be all right, that we reassure them
That it's okay.
that it's okay.
And while you guys are practicing social distance, I'm going to give you some things that CNN talked about public places. So they talked about, yes, you could go to the grocery store, you could take out, is no evidence of a virus in food, so you can wipe the bag down. Long as you wipe the bag down before you take it in, you're good. And you could go to the grocery store without a problem. Let me tell y'all something. Okay, the mask, face mask. You should not be wearing this in public. Mask is to keep germs in by preventing sick people coughing or sneezing into the air. Do you get that?
Yeah.
Face masks, I think people are outside with them. They don't even understand it's not preventing anything from them getting something. It's just it's basically to keep your germs in,
Right.
not the next person.
Right. Honestly, if someone sneezes on you, depending on where they sneeze on you,
They still got you.
Right. They still got you.
So yeah, guys, the mask that you guys are wearing outside may not really work. Okay.
Mask off.
Mask off. Okay. Another thing CNN said, if you can avoid public transportation, you should. Yes, public transportation is a easy one. Like, that it's a lot of people that don't wash their hands, don't clean their hands. It's a lot of people that's walking with the virus and don't even have symptoms. It's a lot of people.
And I'm pretty sure the actual buses, the metro buses, last time I checked, they do have a practice in hand where it's like, you have to be at least 2 seats apart.
Right. So the thing is, and it is true that they said something like a board in the front, where they keep the board in the front, so when you pass by, that's all, you got to go out the back way. You can't go out the front way. Right. You can only go in and you go out the back way. But a lot of people are not catching the bus right now because they lost their jobs. And I feel for y'all people out there that lost their job. I know a couple of people that don't have a job right now because of this situation, but you guys stay strong. Hopefully that stimulus check that's coming in that Trump supposedly...
currently it's being held up in the Senate.
Right. They failed it. They didn't pass it, huh?
It's not failed yet, but they're just having just complete straight disagreements between the Democrats that are actually in the Senate and whatnot.
The disagreement, I think, that we'll never know is mainly like so you got these people, we are all gonna have to pay this money back. It will help us out a little bit because I want some money, so I ain't gonna deny the check, but I just know it'll put us in debt again. We already in debt, they say. America is.
Now back in what it'll do is that it'll stimulate the economy,
right?
To keep things on track. But I think where it's going to actually come back at us will most likely be in taxes. Right.
So I could take the check. I just don't want to pay it back. But since we living in the world that we have to pay these things back, then it is what it is. But I know some people need that money, and I hope that they make that happen real fast. Another thing that CNN said, under no circumstances should you travel at the moment. I hear a lot of people saying that they still traveling.
Just because
Why?
plane tickets are cheap right now?
I wouldn't even get near the airport because it's 2 terminals open. I wonder why they got 2 terminals open and say don't travel. If we locked in, do that make sense?
No.
Two terminals are open, so that means that they're still flying people in and out. And I heard a plane at my house. I live by the airport, so
Right,
it's crazy. I don't know.
But you're not allowed to go outside. You're not allowed to go outside the country.
You're not allowed to go outside. Okay, but country is the same. We can't run from it. At the end of the day, we can't run from it. All we could do is practice social distance. All we could do is stay in the house. That's really what we could do. Go to work and come back in. And a lot of people are really making this staying in the house an issue. Honestly, I stayed in the house anyway. I'm not the out person like I used to be. So I'm not affected by it so much because I still go to work. But a lot of people find you something to do. You can read. You can exercise. There's nothing wrong with going outside and taking a run because they say you can still go outside. Those exercise people, outdoor exercise is fine, but not the gym. All the gyms are closed, so they don't even have to say that. Well, seniors say that, but y'all don't even have to say that because all the gyms are closed. Ooh, somebody said minus the traffic going to airport. Lord, that traffic. You know what? I'm happy. Even though all the people that got kids out there, I am happy they not going to school for a minute, so I could get to work in 15 minutes instead of 30. Because those school buses and the kids walking across the street back and forth and back, and y'all don't even understand how long it takes you to get to work when the schools is in. But I'm happy that they're letting the kids go home and they give them packets to do for work. I mean, for homework and stuff like that. That's a good thing. They still get educated. But
the thing is that the schools, they're still technically open as far as them, giving, breakfast and lunches to the kids.
Some people are taking it, some people are not. But I'm glad that they're doing that too, because a lot of single parents or even parents that don't really have any money like that, they need that. They need that help. They need to be able to go to CNN may not be a credible source, but I'm just saying what CNN say because they the news and we just gave that out. But we know about these public places. We know not to travel. We know to practice social distance. We know about public transportation. So even though CNN gave this out for somebody that said in my comments, we already know these are the things we're not supposed to do anyway.
I mean, to be completely fair, we saw Fox News making a joke about this, but then now they're taking it seriously now. Yeah,
see, but we don't. Fox News is something else. I ain't even gonna say nothing about them because this is not a negative show. This is G-Vibe show. We just gonna keep a vibe in here, and it ain't gonna be about Fox because I can make a list about Fox News. Anyway, I'm gonna go into break, and then when I come back, guys, I'm gonna bring up this topic that I know you guys are waiting to hear about. And since I got on that craziness about Corona, I'm gonna get on the relationship topic, and you'll see what that is when we come back. Are we back? Hey, welcome to G Vibes. It's your girl G9. And yes, for a couple of weeks, it'll be me, just me by myself. I'll bring my guests coming really soon once this thing calms down of coronavirus. Okay, so I'm going to switch it up a little bit. We talked about social distance. We talked about coronavirus. I'm usually going to talk about the most important things in the beginning, and then I'm going to get a little bit into what I usually talk about on my day-to-day. So I love relationship topics, and everybody knows I do. So I'm going to get into this relationship topic, and the topic today is, and I'm going to mention this right now. Every show that I'm doing by myself, I'm going to do the last 30 minutes on a topic. So whatever you would like me to talk about, we could talk about, and I'll be giving Facebook feedback. So the first topic today is how past relationships can affect your new relationship. And I just want to say, I can personally, I've been affected from a couple of past relationships, and it kind of, how can I say? So my past relationship kind of affected the new relationship because I used to bring all the bad things, like, well, basically, lack of communication kills me. Like, I don't like lack of communication. So past relationships that was my biggest thing. It was the lack of communication. And sometimes being afraid to express yourself to your partner. I always told myself when I get in a relationship that the person I truly want to be with, I love, and I want to marry, I'm going to not only express that what I want in the relationship, I'm going to live up to those things. So me personally, communication was like one of the things in my past relationships. In my new relationship, I try to enforce, like, communication is everything. And good, thank God, my man is a communicator. Jesus. But that affected me a lot because I turned into a person in the beginning as questioning my new relationship. Everything he was doing, I'll be like questioning it instead of communicating with him. And that is very hard for people that been through some things. Like, since I've been through some things, I'm questioning everything, and every move you make can affect the relationship in so many ways. So many ways. One thing it affected was even when you tell somebody that you had a bad type of situation, past relationship or bad relationships in the past, that should not affect you to where you get in a new relationship and you think that person is like that. You have to feel them out. You have to understand them a little more, because a lot of people go into relationships seeking to always... Me personally, I went into a relationship. I always liked the battlefield. I always was the battle person in the relationship. I always had to get the last word or say something back. I wasn't seeking to like listen to my guy at first. I was just not looking for that. I was always looking for, I gotta say what I gotta say. I gotta say what I gotta say. And I had to learn over time that it's not about saying what you gotta say. It's about understanding what that person is saying, and he understanding what you gotta say, and vice versa. Because if you're not seeking to understand, you don't want to be in a relationship. Like, how can you grow in a relationship if you're not trying to understand who your partner is? And sometimes I think when you bring up the past to your partner, they held it against you. So I don't have that in my new relationship, that they hold that against me. But sometimes I think a lot of times I used to feel like if the person tells me a lot about their past, I will hold it against them.
Now, I've seen it a couple times where someone's passed, because I've known friends where they've been through some things where they themselves have been the victim of just abuse.
Right.
And so that's emotional baggage.
Definitely.
That they're carrying. And so then they take that emotional baggage into the next relationship, and it ends up putting a hamper on that relationship, because now you have this feeling of just distrust.
Yes.
And so you've closed yourself and made it almost impossible for the person that you're currently with.
Yes, definitely.
To actually be able to actually heal you, to actually
understand.
Right, to actually help you, come to terms with what happened, and to reassure you that that's not going to happen again. But instead, you push those, mannerisms and prejudices onto him, to where now you distance yourself from him, or vice versa.
Yeah, I think that sometimes past relationships can affect the new relationship if you allow it to. If you don't allow past situations to because everybody had past relationships and they do affect you personally. But if you don't acknowledge that they hurt you, it's going to be hard to heal from it. The first step of anything is acknowledging that it's a problem. When you feel like it's a problem, if you feel like it's a problem in a relationship and you don't acknowledge it, it becomes sour really fast. But I know now, as I was growing, I had to realize that I had to acknowledge I had a problem, then work towards fixing the problem. And the best way I did that, I did therapy. And when I did therapy, I realized I had so much baggage keeping me from loving the man I'm with, like, completely. And it's very traumatizing to not give your all to somebody because of something that happened to you that they can't fix, that they can't go back and say, well, this is how we, it's like, what do you do with that? So I did some Facebook feedback on this topic, and I'm going to talk about everything that someone had to say. So somebody said how past relationships can affect your new relationship is bringing up the past relationships. Do you think that's a situation, Reggie?
It definitely can be a situation, but I think, like, for a past relationship, if something traumatizing has happened in your past, your current partner can actually do something accidentally
and don't know,
and it'll just trigger it, and then that's when you go into that, that the whole spiral.
And that is the thing. Like, sometimes people do not know your triggers. People don't know what your past. If you don't tell because a lot of people say don't bring up your past. But if you don't tell your significant other about your past and it's something that is affecting you, when they do something, you could get triggered and act on it. You could react on something that they didn't even know that was a problem for you.
Right, and it's like, because back when I was in high school, I was always the type of person to advocate for couples to actually communicate. They always would come to me with
you was the counselor?
Basically.
Okay.
I was a counselor because I had to give them actual advice on, like, okay, but what you're telling me, have you actually communicated that
to your partner?
Right, to your partner, because you're telling me everything, which I'm like, all right, fine, but you're not telling your significant other the same thing, because y'all need to actually work this out amongst each other.
Yes.
Instead of coming to me for advice, which I'm okay with, but you have to be able to actually work this out amongst yourselves.
Yes. It's all about that. It's all about working things out yourself. Sometimes I think we go into situations where we want to communicate with the new person we with, but we don't know how they're going to take it. So we talk to our friends about it, and then that communication can affect the way you come at your person that you're with, because most of the times your friend's been around longer than your man or your woman. So they know you. So they're going to give you this advice and have you handle a situation that you could just communicate with your spouse and y'all can handle it together.
Right.
Because one thing I said was communication. Another thing was lying. I don't like a lying man. That is the biggest pet peeve. I don't like lying people. But me in a relationship with somebody and they lying, I don't like that. I gotta, even when it's a white lie, it's like, but why you had to lie about that? So it's all about boundaries. It's all about respect. And it's definitely about communication. And if you can't communicate with your spouse, then that's going to be hard to be in a relationship with somebody you can't communicate with.
You also have to trust them.
Yeah, and honestly, the trust comes. Because honestly, you could say you trust somebody, and as soon as they do something, you like, I'm not messing with them no more. And then you don't find out why this happened or what. It's so many things that go into being in a relationship, and I tell you, it's work. But I'm gonna go to somebody else saying something on Facebook. They said certain behaviors, what she said, flag your senses. What do you think she meant by flag your senses?
Basically, there would be certain ways that person reacts.
Yeah,
it's kind of like a red herring in a sense.
Yeah,
where certain actions are just triggered to the point where it's like, okay, I know something happened with you, because of your current reaction on how you're actually taking things.
Right.
So just like certain just certain warnings, like certain red flags, is just something that you have to actually be careful of.
Right. And honestly, let me tell you something about red flags. When you your past relationships can affect your new relationship. I know something about red flags. Sometimes we'll see red flags in our past relationship and into the new relationship that we feel is a red flag. And it's maybe not a red flag. It's maybe something you need to talk to your partner about that you don't like. Now, somebody being lazy and don't want to do nothing, that's a flag. But for everybody. But somebody that's doing something that you are insecure about, something, that's something you can't fix. That's something with self. It's a couple of things that goes with this whole scenario. But somebody else said easy as soon as something goes wrong, you start comparing your new boo to your old boo, and that shit goes downhill after that.
Oh no, that's a no-no.
That is a no-no. Do not ever compare your new boo to your old boo or your new man to your old man. The relationship will be done to me by then. I don't never want my man, or personally in my face, I don't want it. I don't even want it behind my back. But honestly, I would never want somebody to compare me to their last relationship. That is the biggest red flag of I gotta leave you alone because you're not over your past and go. Is that a big pet peeve for you, Reggie?
It actually is, in the sense that it's like, if you want to compare me to someone of your past, it lets me know that you were never completely over them.
Yeah, I feel the same way. If you compare me to your last boo, you were never over the boo or bear, whoever he or she was. If we doing comparisons and we trying to figure out, if we're trying to build a relationship, you cannot compare me to your past relationships. That's a no-no. Don't do it. Ladies and fellas, if you out there, do not compare your past relationship to your new relationship. That is a red flag. And to me, it just seems like the person should move right along from that person, or tell you to go back to your old boo. Another one someone said is by jumping into a new relationship without healing properly. And we basically been talking about that. If you do not heal properly, you cannot move on. I've moved on and didn't heal properly, and I had to heal properly in the relationship. And thank God I had somebody to I had a therapist to talk to here and there, and people and friends and family of what I've been through. So I think my healing process mainly was trusting myself, trusting that I make the right decisions to move forward. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because when you're ready to leave out of bad relationships, you have to trust yourself first. If you don't trust yourself, you're going to be right back with that person. A lot of times people don't realize that it's hard for you to move on mentally, because people still stay physically most of the time,
right?
But mentally they don't leave. What do you feel about that, Reggie?
I think when people mentally have a block,
right,
it's usually a sign that that basically what happened to them was very traumatic to the point where it's like they can never let it go, truly. Mm-hmm. Even if their friends tell them, yo, you have to let this go,
right,
they have a real hard time actually coping
with the situation,
with
the old situation.
Right.
Well, the question is, how do you heal properly?
I think one of the main ways to actually heal properly is to, one, confide to your friends and family. Go see a therapist.
Yeah. Anybody that you feel comfortable enough to talk to. Can you close the door for me? Because they finna be loud. Anybody that you feel comfortable enough to talk to about your past, you should talk to. Past relationships don't define you. How you react to the past defines you more.
Correct.
So, with that being said, I'm going to go into another song, and then we're going to leave this topic alone. And if you have anything to say about this topic, you can let me know in my DMs, messages, anything, under these comments on my live, anything. Just let me know. All right, guys, we'll be back. Okay, guys, I got about 4 more minutes with y'all, so I'm going to give y'all something right now. Okay, so we talked about COVID-19. Be safe out there. Make sure you wash your hands. Don't touch your face after you done touch stuff. Keep your social distance. That's what we got to do. Keep our social distance. While you're out there quarantining and chilling, do something productive like read a book. Write a book. We got some time out here, y'all. We can write, read, whatever you want to do. Anything that desires you, you should do while you at home. Because a lot of people are sitting there like, what is it to do? What is it to do? It's so many things you could work on. You could work on self. Exercise, meditate, yoga, all type of things. It's a lot of YouTube videos you can look at and learn a lot of things from. Check out YouTube. Make your own channel. I'm just giving y'all a couple of ideas, but you get what I'm saying. What I've been doing while I've been quarantining and chilling is sitting at home thinking about my next move with this show. So whatever you got in works, think about that. What is your next move, and make that next move your best move. Another thing, about the topic that we talked about, how past relationships can affect your new relationship. The best thing you could do in every situation, in any relationship, is go in every relationship with a clear mind. A lot of times we are clouded with so many things, and we are not able to love the person genuinely how we should love the person, because we are affected by our past. But your past does not define you. You are strong. You are worthy, women out there, and men out there too, because y'all don't get enough credit. But I'm telling y'all is worthy as just as much as women is worthy too. And y'all keep living y'all life out there. Make sure you check out G Vibes every Monday, 6 to 7 p.m. If you got a topic for me to talk about, you want to write me a DM and say you want to come on the show when it opens back up for guests, you can do that as well. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment to G Vibes on YouTube. And make sure you check out my page on Instagram at G Vibes, my personal page at G9. And make sure you tune in every Monday, 6 to 7 p.m. Once again, I'll see y'all next week. Have a good night.